All right, welcome back to It's Time Picks. We got UFC Vegas 69, Jessica Andrade versus Aaron Blanchfield. The card overall, not the best in the world. I think there will be some really exciting fights. There could probably be, five or six finishes. So there is still a lot to look forward to, but overall, it is a pretty bland card. Joey, where are you at with things?
I'm gonna be nice and say pretty much exactly what you said. A blank card, from what I've seen, for at least from like on paper wise, there's what five short notices and what like 4 or 5 UFC debuts. So this card could be weird. So, but we're gonna attack it though, like we do every card, and we're gonna pick our spots, which who knows how many are, but it's an 11 fight card. It's an early card at 4. So we're gonna try to do what we do, and hopefully I'll take the lead back after this week. So we'll see.
We're tied back up after
Yes, we
that
are.
not very good card.
No.
All right. First up on deck, we have Clayton Carpenter and Juan Camilo Ronderos. You want to take this one first?
Yeah, Ronderos, he had his first fight in the UFC versus Dvorak. I think it was also short notice, but Dvorak pretty much did exactly what he wanted to do to the guy, and he snatched submission up quick. Carpenter is from the Contender Series, well rounded, but he's a very good wrestler. Exactly looks for. He sets up his strikes, lowers his levels, and he goes right to the attack. No matter if he doesn't get the first one, he'll chain for a second. He'll go for a third. He'll do whatever he has to do to get the takedowns. Then it gets him to the ground where he is a sneaky BJJ fighter. So tends to be over aggressive a little bit, which can, when you're in the big level, maybe not for this fight. I'm not really too worried about him being over aggressive, but later on in the competition, when his aggression, I think is going to come back to bite him sooner or later. But I think this is a Carpenter play.
I absolutely agree with you. Ronderos has basically one trick, and that's grappling, and he's going against somebody that can grapple just as well, if not better. So I don't see any chance for Ronderos. Now, I said this last week with what's his name, the first fight of the card with Tugov, who should have just smashed, and he didn't. I mean, he won that fight. I don't care what they say. They
Yeah,
got
them
these.
judges were terrible.
But regardless, it's because he looked bored the whole fight. And but I don't think it's going to be like that one at all. Carpenter is like an exciting
He's a
prospect.
good
He's got a lot
prospect.
going for it to him. So I like Carpenter to come out early, finish this early, whether
Yep.
it's first or second. But he's definitely the pick.
Either way, he's a play for me at 93 on DraftKings.
Absolutely. Next up, we got AJ Fletcher and Themba Grimbo. Um, I don't know where you're at with things, but man, I've got Fletcher winning, but I'm getting really sick and tired of him not living up to his potential or his hype. Because his two UFC fights, the first one he looked like shit. The second one he got tired and then looked like shit. So he should win this fight. Theoretically, they gave him a fight that he should win, but I mean, if he loses his cardio again, he might end up submitted or knocked out. So it's one of those fights where I'm iffy on. I do have Fletcher, but I do worry about where he is at with things and whether or not he can live up to himself.
So I agree. I'm on Fletcher. But, some people could say that he should have won the Semelsberger fight. It was close. That was the one fight that was close. The second fight, he started off good early, but his gas went quick. Rombo, he is taking his debut. He's actually tall for the division at welterweight. He's rangy as hell. Um, he's a counter striker. AJ is gonna maybe try to overcome with the overhand power. Maybe he can catch him with the jab, but like unless either he catches AJ with a mean counter or if AJ shoots an ugly double and catches a sub, I don't see how this is AJ's fight to lose. Um, yeah, this to me, like this is AJ's chance. If you don't win this fight, I know UFC had high expectations for you. He's going. Usually, strike three, you're out. But this is damn near strike three, you're out. Like Fletcher's the play. I'm kind of scared playing him because knowing how if he doesn't get an early finish, his cardio is going to drop. But the win, I am on the Fletcher side. But I don't know too much about Garombo, but from what I heard, even at his other fighting organizations, he was just mediocre at best. But from what I've seen, he is a long rangy dude at welterweight. But
He is. He'll have 10 inches of reach on
yeah,
Fletcher. So
that's
Fletcher, I mean, Fletcher, here's what I worry about. Fletcher will be able to wrestle this guy. He will be able to take him down. But his cardio comes into play. If he can't finish it in the first round, how's he going to look in the second? If they
yep,
make it through the second, he's going to be dead in the third. And Angelusa tore up Fletcher once he got tired.
yep.
So it's definitely a GPP fight. I don't trust either fighter, but Fletcher's definitely the play. And Fletcher could come out and take him down 3 times and then finish him in the first round, break the slate.
Yeah.
That's entirely possible. So both of us going with AJ Fletcher. Both of us not super high on him, but it's where we're at with things.
I'm not.
This next fight, I'm not a fan of at all. We got OSP of St. Preux and Philippe Lins. This is a dumb fight. I'll let you take this one.
OSP, good power striker, low end type of wrestling. He'll get a takedown here on blue, but lately, it looks like he doesn't even want to be there anymore. I know he's up there in age, but he just shows in his fights. Okay, he's very low volume lately. Yes, there's on occasions where he'll get his sneaky flan flu choke, but lately
He's just bored. Like he's done.
He's bored. He's like, all right, is my contract done? Look at you. But and then there's Lins, good striker, good, fast, athletic guy since coming down to 205, which back in the PFL, he won the tournament at 205. But the difference is they're around the same age, but Lens actually showed a bit improvement against Pacquiao, where, it wasn't the best fight, but he showed improvements in the takedowns, where he went for takedowns. He had 4 of them.
But this is Pacquiao we're talking about. I mean,
yeah, but I don't even know how he's in the higher up on the card, but we'll get to that fight later. My pick is Lens. I don't like this fight as a whole because I'm thinking this could be a low volume type of fight and neither side pays off. Is it possible that either one could land a strike and potentially TKO somebody early? Possibly. But I like the more aggressive Lens. And I'm usually an OSP guy, but I think he needs to go. Like, he doesn't look like he wants to even be there anymore. If you want to say, okay, maybe St. Preux is a GPP play, but I'm not even comfortable saying that at his price. Like, he won a split against Rua and he barely scored shit. So I'm probably going to fade this fight as a whole and hope it gets over like 1.5 and nobody pays it off. I think this fight could be a OSP circle, low volume. I think Lins will out volume him, but I think he's going to try to play range. He doesn't want to stay. He wants to stay away from the power OSP. And I think this fight goes to decision.
I think you are probably right. And I think that Lins will definitely have more volume, but I think he will also have a lot more missed strikes. His accuracy is going to be shit. To me, it's either Lins by 80 strike decision, which will score like 70, or a OSP submission somewhere in the first or second round.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at. I don't trust either fighter again. But Lins is definitely the play because he'll be the one that wins the decision.
I agree.
So both of us, again, same pick, going with Philippe Lins. Next up, we might be different depending on where you landed on Jamal Evers
first,
and Kusain Askabov.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emmers is another one of those fighters who just has not looked what people thought he was going to be. I watched some of Askabov's fights, and damn, dude, he reminds me of Taporia. I loved. He's not as powerful, but man, his grappling is good. It's there, and he's quick, man. He's got some fast hands. So everything that Emmers does outside of power, Askabov does better. Emmers is a decent. Well, he's a decent grappler, but he got wrestled fucked by Pat Sabatini, and he made it look easy. So, even Giga Chikadze, who isn't any type of wrestler or grappler at all, was able to get back up from his 2 takedowns. His reversals were quick and easy, and that fight ended in a decision. But so for me, Emmers is. This could be one of those Trayshawn Gore fights where Emmers comes out and he finally looks the way he's supposed to. But against Askabov, I don't think it happens. I'm really impressed with this kid, and I'm excited to see him. So I'm definitely with Askabov all day.
this is one fight I told you earlier I was torn on because I looked at his record. His record's so shady though. Like I have a feeling you could probably put one of the UFC mid to low level guys in his competition level. They may have a damn near similar record. I just don't like his record. I'm not saying the kid's not talented. From what I've seen, he is talented as hell. I think the wrestling is close, but I give the slight edge wrestling for Askabov. Um, the striking, I actually do give slightly Emmers. But Emmers does have the better comp. He beat Sanhagen before the UFC. That's impressive. Split decision against Jakaze, who's arguably who knows what he is nowadays until he comes back, but arguably one of the better strikers in that weight class, and took him down with no problem. But he did get up. He rocked. I hate to say it, he rocked the hell out of my boy Patty Sad. But what happens is you left your foot in there and you got your thing snapped. But he rocked Pat 17 hard. And maybe if he would have let him up, who knows what would have happened. But, he got too aggressive and Pat made him pay. I think this fight could be close. But like I said, I'm still torn on it right now before I even make my pick.
Go with your gut, man. I know you want to say Emmers.
I'm going Emmers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just think, like, the level of competition, he's still not a bad prospect. Like, he is going against a guy that's undefeated. And I even put against the dude. There's times where Askabov, when he does get wild, he leaves his hands down and hittable. Emmer still has good jabs, good footwork to land combos. But I think this fight could be a good one. Like, depends on how it goes. If it goes over 1.5, who knows? I think there's going to be times where they both might mix into wrestling, but I do like Emmers as the better striker, just slightly, because he's more fluent in his striking, while Askabov is more wild. But I'm on Emmers mainly because of the experience, and I don't like that. Like I said, he's talented, but I don't like that schedule. You can put any like mid-level guy in the UFC, and they're gonna have a damn near similar record.
Yes and no. And Emmers is, I mean, I'd say Emmers is the safer play as well because Askabov hasn't fought since 2020, and that's because his last two fights got canceled.
Yep.
But if you look at who the UFC lined him up against, it was Joe Anderson Brito and Herbert Burns. So Herbert isn't the greatest, but he is a grappler, and Joe Anderson
Brito is a knockout or bust. Finish or bust.
Yeah. So I mean, but they didn't. It's not like they handed him, chump change of the UFC.
No.
So. And now, now he gets Emmers, and Emmers is if Emmers comes out and looks like he did well, before the UFC with the LFA, okay, well, he probably wins this, but it's hard to say. He hasn't looked good in the UFC, so both of us split on this one. I'm going with Askabov. You're going with Emmers. The next fight, I don't even want to get into too much. I will say this every time she fights. Lena Landsberg does not belong in the UFC. She did look decent in her last fight against Carol Hossa, but Hossa's on her way out. Lena Landsberg, I'm sorry, you are fucking garbage. They are giving this fight to Bueno Silva because they want her to get back in the win column. Bueno Silva is not a bad fighter. She's just run into a bit of bad luck. And, she was the Manon Fiorot fight was, Fiorot is about to, take the belt. And then she won against Yanan Wu and Stephanie Egger, and now they're giving her Landsberg. So I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're just giving her a bunch of shit people to beat the shit out of until she can fight somebody ranked, is my guess. Bueno Silva should dominate this fight. It shouldn't even be close. I can see Bueno Silva just ragdolling her, but at 95 or 9,600, whatever
95,
it is,
absolutely not.
I wouldn't trust it at all. She would have to literally get a few takedowns and finish in the first round, and you just can't trust her to do that. But yeah, I'm on Bueno Silva. This is a lock without it being my lock.
Yeah, I was gonna pull a joke saying, "Yeah, I'm on Landsberg," but that's a bunch of shit. But now I'm on Bruno Silva. But only thing I'll say about this, Landsberg is the better striker. I'll give it that. She has good, dude. She is the better, dude. She's a Muay Thai world champion striker. That's the only thing she has: good Muay Thai and good clinch work. But her takedown defense is absolute fucking shit water. But here's the thing, though, I don't get it. Bruno's a decent striker. Those combos, good kicks. Way better BJJ grappler. But I hate when grapplers don't have good takedowns. That always bugs me. But I still think Silva's going to do what she wants. I think she's going to make it dirty against the cage, try to win control time. I'm not touching this fight for GPP. Some people are going to say, "Oh, she's safe cash play." I guess, but I don't really play cash like that.
If
But I'm not
if you're gonna play this in GPP, you unfortunately play Landsberg and hope that she does it. And that's really all it is.
and even when she loses, like she scores like 40 points in decision, which okay, but I'm
It's
not
good for
playing.
cash. I mean,
Yeah, it's good for cash,
it's fine for a cash lineup because she's the cheapest on the slate.
but nah, I'm not. I'm not touching this fight as a whole. So
So she might make, you know, maybe she makes me eat my words and she goes and knocks out Buena Silva and I look like a dumbass. But I don't know. I just Lena Landsberg is just not a good fighter to me. So
she needs to go back to kickboxing.
that'd be fine.
Yes,
So both of us going with Bueno Silva. This next fight, I don't know why you're torn on this fight. It doesn't make any
I am.
sense to me. Nazim Sadikov and Evan Elder. You can have this one first.
I know Sadikov, he's in the camp of Sarah Longo, I want to say, with Aljo and all the rest of that crew. He came off the contender series. He got a late finish. He looks fine. Elder, he took a fight on short notice against Parsons, up a weight, and Parsons absolutely ragdolled him and used his proper size and controlled
And I
him.
told you that he would.
Hey, but I did play Parsons, by the way. Thank you. But and I think I even switched my pick to Parsons before that happened. So thank you again. But now Elder's back at his natural weight. I think this fight could be competitive. I think I do prefer Elder as a more well-rounded striker. But what's his name? Sadikov. He's sneaky with it. He has more power. Iffy takedowns. But I'm going Elder. I like Elder on the feet.
I think this fight stays in the feet. And I
And if
think
he stays
Elder
on the
gets
feet,
knocked out.
yeah, I like Elder.
Either way, but one of them is getting knocked out if it
Yeah,
stays in the feet.
I think someone gets knocked out under 2.5. I think this is a good, striking GPP fight. And I think someone even gets knocked down, and someone's going to pay off that price. No matter who wins, if someone gets a knockdown and knockout, they're paying off that price.
I think Elder's going to make you look stupid, man.
I like Elder. I'm on Elder. Dog number 2.
The wrong pick. You're going to
Wrong
look dumb.
pick.
You're going to look dumb.
We'll see.
All right. Split again. I'm going with Sadikov. You're going with Elder. This next fight, I'm really looking forward to this fight. Jim Miller and Alexander Hernandez. And there's a scenario in which both of these guys win. If I'm going with Alexander Hernandez because the way that he came out last fight against Billy Q, I thought he was about to win it and finish Billy Q.
Yep.
Billy Q is just an animal and he brought it back. If Alexander comes out like he did in that fight, Jim Miller is going to fold in the first round. He will not be able to withstand that. It's just not going to happen. Billy Q's toughness is just unbelievable. So if that happens and Hernandez is able to land like that, Miller's done. It's going to be lights out, goodbye. If he is not, or if he doesn't do that, or if Miller can withstand anything, Hernandez will likely lose his cardio and Miller could potentially end up with a sub in the late, part of second round, third round. So, but like I said, I'm going with Hernandez. I loved what I saw in him last fight, and I think he's going to put Miller out quickly.
I know Hernandez actually took this fight on short notice. I agree. I'm on Hernandez. I hate to say it because I am usually a Jersey guy. I do like Miller. But lately, Miller's been fighting these unproven guys that shouldn't even be in the UFC. And yes, he's getting wins. Don't get me wrong. He unfortunately, he beat a guy, my man Cerrone, where Cerrone should retired a bit ago. But he really hasn't fought nobody like Cerrone should have been done ages ago. Gonzalez, I don't know how he's still in the UFC. And then whoever that third fight he just beat. But one thing I'm noticing, Jim Miller's chin is iffy now. He's getting rocked. Gonzalez had him rocked before he got knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like I said, if Hernandez comes out like he did against Billy Q, he could potentially fold him with that 1 minute bonus.
Yep.
If he comes out aggressive like that.
That's my thoughts exactly.
But yeah, I'm definitely playing Hernandez. I think some people are going to try to get away from him. I hope they do because he's a sneaky GPP play for me. Short notice. He said he was battling some stuff, previously to the Billy Q fight. And hey, Billy Q's a tough dog. You got to legit finish Billy Q to beat Billy Q. But yeah, I'm all over Hernandez. 8,900 is a bit scary, but like I said, that's a price tag for at least GPPs. I'm really leaning towards going towards.
I
But
think he pays off in just about any round. So,
yeah, I think he absolutely demolishes Miller. I hate to say it though.
uh-huh. Yep, I agree. All right, both of us going with Alexander Hernandez. This next fight, William Knight and Prochnio. I'll let you take this one first, but I am going to note right away, pay attention to weigh-ins tomorrow and keep an eye on Knight. He has had issues with weigh-ins and he has not cared, so tomorrow is going to be interesting. But go ahead.
Yes, tomorrow, as you said, tomorrow's gonna be interesting because there's times what was it, a 205 fight with William, not William, he was with who did he fight? Devin Clark? He
He was
missed about 12
218.
pounds, and then Devin Clark's like, you know what, screw it, I'll just fight a heavyweight. And what happened? Clark still came in there and finished him round 3, which I'm sorry, you getting finished by TKO Devin Clark. That's not a good look. I'm sorry. Devin Clark has no type of power. Um, so before Prachnio got into UFC, he was a high tided prospect. He ran in some buzzsaws. Ankalaev, I'm not going to take that. Ankalaev, people are going to lose to Ankalaev. Ankalaev ran through him like, it was nothing. Then who else he lose to? He lost to, like, what, 3 or 4 other people. But I do say he's the better striker than Knight. Knight just is pure. As I said about Alonzo Menenfield, Knight is just a big jacked up dude that's just going to try to throw boom, boom, boom. But then boom, boom, booms, he can put your ass to sleep if he lands clean on the chin. But I still think this fight's going to be a potential finish. The only way I don't see it being a finish is if Pragnow just uses his range and tries to circle around the small cage. But
I don't think he knows how to do
no, he doesn't know how to do it. But
that.
like I said, I've been torn on this fight. Knight is the more well-rounded guy, but I wish he would go back to more to his wrestling because he does have good wrestling credentials. But he realized, okay, I knock people out, I can knock somebody out. My slight lean, and then I'm always gonna have one on the card. I'm not fully confident with this fight. This is a 1-800 gambler fight. I'm not trying to touch for a bet, but my slight lean is Prachnio because William Knight. I don't know where the hell his head been.
If it was all right, so here's where I'm at. If it was anybody other than Prochnio, I would go against Knight because it is Prochnio, and Prochnio is very susceptible to being knocked out because he doesn't know how to guard his face. Yeah, William Knight is going to be my pick because I do think that he gets knocked out. Prochnio has no chin. And those first 3 fights in the UFC, he went boom, boom, boom on the first round. Knight is most live in the first round. So it only takes one shot, and Knight has more power than Alvey, Ankalaev, and Rodriguez probably put together. So the way Prochnio wins this, he gets out of the first and just pieces him up with volume. But Prochnio makes way too many mistakes for my liking, just way too many. Plus, Philippe Lins took down Prochnio 4 times in the last fight. That's pretty much what caused him to lose. Knight, if he goes to his wrestling, there's no way Prochnio is getting up. He does have a takedown, at least one takedown in the last like 4 fights, I think.
If I knew that he was actually going to be a wrestling aggressive, I would
3.
go ahead and pick the hell out of William Knight, and he'd be more confident.
I think. Well, so here's what I think happens is if Knight makes it out of the first round without getting a knockout, he will resort to his wrestling because he'll be too tired to throw strikes. And if he gets Prochnio on the ground, then he can just lay on top. And I think that's what's going to happen if it's not the knockout.
If you're getting knocked out by Devin Clark, Prochnio has better striking than Devin Clark.
Yeah, but if you remember that, it's because he was so tired. And it's all going to come down to if it even makes it to that 3rd round. And
I want to see what in the weigh-in. If he looks absolutely like dog shit in the weigh-in, I'm fine with Prachnio.
I'm going to say this right now. If Knight comes in severely overweight again, we're not counting this fight.
That's fine.
Because
that's what I'm thinking. How the hell are you going to go for last fight 251 and then try to go ahead and go 205, 206? That mind blows me.
He's had plenty of time to make this weight cut. He should have started already a month ago. He should make it. We will see. So keep an eye on that. I'm going with Knight. You're going with Prochnio. But like I said, keep an eye on weigh-ins. And make your pick from that.
Yep.
Next up, we have Josh Parisian and Jamal Pogues. What you got, man?
So Pogue, these guys are both Contender Series alums. Parisian actually did the Ultimate Fighter first, and then he went through the Contender Series and got his way into the UFC. Pogue's only losses are from 185 and 205. He's never lost a heavyweight yet, but he's still early in his career. He's an athletic striker, decent takedowns. He doesn't really offer much, submission wise, but he's an athletic kid for heavyweight. And his frame, his frame's going to keep getting smaller now. He's at the Institute. Parisian, he is well rounded. He showed improved takedowns in his last fight. I'm torn on this one because Pugs really hasn't really fought nobody either to an extent. And I'm sorry, Parisian's always a tough out. I don't care. People are gonna say, "Oh, he sucks." But he's a tough out for anybody. He's not like one of them boring low level heavyweights. I'm gonna say Parisian, more well rounded. Pugs is making his debut finally, and Parisian's gonna walk him up in a striking fight. Pugs gonna come forward. We know Parisian's gonna come strike back. And like I said, he's shown improvement in his takedowns. And even though Pugs does have decent takedowns too, he has takedowns in both of his Contender Series fights. I just think Parisian's in a new place where he said that, oh, I had issues in other past. Well, I know some fighters are going to say that to an extent, but I just like the mindset of Parisian. He said he feels free now, and at first he didn't know that if he wanted to be in the UFC because all the issues he was having with his health. But from interviews I'm seeing, he's ready. He said this is the most calm he's been before a fight. I'm going Parisian. He might even be a low GPP owned guy at 7,200. That might be one of my most lean dogs at 7,200.
I'm against you.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't hate the pick. I do think Parisian is he's a good fighter for his level. Will he ever be a top 10 fighter? Absolutely.
He'll be borderline like 15 to like 25.
25, yeah.
He's an entertaining guy. He's someone,
the,
if they can keep Sam Alvey in the UFC as long as they did, they can keep Parisian in the UFC.
the problem I think that he's going to run into this and with this fight is that Pogues is very aggressive from what I saw. Like he can mix in his takedowns, and I think that he's going to. And Pogues has more power, but I'm not like ultra confident with the pick. I just like what I saw out of Pogues, and I think that if he does take it to the mat, then he's got the advantage there. Volume will probably be relatively close. Parisian should have probably a little bit more because he is a little quicker. If the fight came out and Pogues wasn't going to do any wrestling, I would be with you. I'd probably take Parisian. But I do think that Pogues plays to his strength. His strength is on the mat, and you never know. We could end up seeing an early finish from him. But GBP wise, it's the only spot that I'd play him because I don't trust that he'll pay off his 9,000 salary. Parisian does make a good GPP playing, if he pulls it off with his money. Because if it goes to a decision and it's on the feet, then Parisian probably gets it. If it goes to his decision with takedowns and control, Pogues will get it. But yeah, so I'm going with Pogues. You're going with Parisian. It's another split pick. I think it's the most split picks we've had so far.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, oh man, Jordan Wright and Zach Pauga. We already had a conversation on this one. I still feel the same damn way that I did earlier. I do not know why Pauga is almost a 3-1 favorite in this
I don't
fight.
agree with the odds.
It is dumb as fuck. I don't. Pauga is nothing special. He's not. I don't care who he trains with. I don't care what he's doing. More than half of his wins have gone to a decision. This fight, if you're going to try to take Wright to a decision, you're an idiot. You capitalize on a right mistake, or you're going to get knocked out or submitted. That's just purely how it's going to be. I am all over Wright. Wright is moving up to 205 in this fight, so he should have a little more durability and more power for that matter. Pauga tends to leave his hands down. Wright can take this to the mat. He can submit him. He can knock him out. The only thing Wright does bad is he's got probably the worst fight IQ in the world. Yeah, you could say he's got a bad chin. He does have a bad chin, but Pauga doesn't really have power. He doesn't. He's got this little like pop shot. It's like he holds up on his strikes. So I have no faith in Pauga. I have Wright winning, and I think Wright finishes this in the first round.
So that's how anything's going to be. Wright is probably going to be one of the most highest owned underdogs in this card because we know that he's a first round or bust type of material guy. The one thing I'll say, who has the more power? Wright, yes, easily. That's not even close. Better striking? Wright, yes. The better wrestler is Paga. I'll put money on that. He's a better wrestler. He's a decent striker with basic boxing. Like I said, he has no power, but he pretty much just uses his jabs to try to close in, hold up. From what I've seen when he's at 205, I'm not counting the heavyweight. When he was in the Ultimate Fighter, and then when he got knocked out by Usman, which I called big time, because he really couldn't use that strength against the big giant heavyweights. But when he's at 205, he likes to work in his decent boxing, boom, boom, drop. I think if he survives the first 3 minutes of this fight, because I know Wright's going to come in hot, if he survives the first 3 minutes of this fight, it's Paga's fight to lose. Because Wright's gas goes, I know we're going to be different on this one. I think, like I said, Wright's going to be the more higher owned guy out of this fight. Paga, even at 9,200, I'm going to see what I can work with because like if it goes past round one, I think Paga wins either a late finish or I'm telling you, bro, Wright will get finished in this fight.
Nope.
Bet 20.
Fine.
Bet.
No. Pauga is terrible. He is complete trash. He has nothing special. He is nothing special. I don't care who he's got in his corner. I don't care who he trains with. Wright will win this fight. I will tell you right now. I told you earlier, I will lock Wright. At 7,100 on DK, I will lock
7,000 on DK.
Okay, even better. How many times have I locked someone 7,000 or below and they've won? Because it's happened quite a few times.
Oh, so have I.
I'm locking Wright.
Ask Mr. Klein. But like I said, I don't hate the right play. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate that right play. But another thing that this might actually make you happier more than anything. You want to know something about Jordan Wright?
So
apparently I think it's only in the UFC. I don't know about otherwise outside anywhere else. Apparently in the UFC, he's undefeated at 205.
I think he's only had the one fight there.
Yeah, there's if you want to count that, but Paga to me, I told people during that Ultimate Fighter run, I told you during a breakdown with Usman, he's a natural 205er. Mm-hmm. He wasn't going to wrestle Usman. He was trying to use his range.
He doesn't wrestle a period. He doesn't shoot.
He knows how to wrestle. I'll tell you, he will show wrestling in this fight.
I disagree.
He will show the wrestling in this fight. If he survives that insane fury that Mr. Wright is going to bring, he is going to wrestle. Because I'm sorry, like I thought Paga was a decent prospect during the Ultimate Fighter. I didn't say he was anything special, but I'm telling you, he will wrestle this kid. If it came to pure wrestling, grappling, I'm going Paga. But yeah, as you said, we're going to be split on that one. I'm on Paga. You're on Wright. Yeah, I think honestly, this is the most splits we had on the card so far all year.
Yeah, we've had quite a few already. Well, there's only one fight left. So I'm going with Wright. You're going Pauga. Mm-hmm. And on to the main event. Jessica Andrade and Aaron Blanchfield. I've been saying since Aaron came into the UFC, and you can remember it because I said it flat out, she is going to have the belt one day. And all she has done is come out and beaten the shit out of everybody that she has faced.
Except for one.
Well.
It was a slow start, but she still got to finish.
You talking about which one?
Aldridge. It took her a little bit to get the range of it, but once she
had to figure. Yes, exactly. And so I am going Blanchfield. I am going to stick with my guns, and I'm going Blanchfield. But here's the problem in this fight: Blanchfield's striking is not all the way there yet. She is a wrestler. She is a smotherer. She will not let you get up. That's what she does. Andrade, we all know, has just incredible power. So here is how this is going to go. If Andrade gets in early, she's going to beat the shit out of Blanchfield, and she's going to win by knockout. If Blanchfield can eat some of those shots, which she will, she'll eat some of them, and then she can get Andrade on the ground, this is going to look exactly like Molly Meatball McCann where she's stuck on the mat, and Andrade herself could get finished. When Blanchfield is on that mat, she's sitting on the
She's
cameras and she's on top.
strong.
She is nasty. If there was a female fighter that I did not want to get stuck under with ground and pound, it is her because
I don't know. That's
it is
take away from the ground and pound, but I'll stick on the bottom. But I'm not gonna go about that one. But
so that's that. I mean, that for to me, it's going to be Andrade by early TKO or Blanchfield in every other way. So I'm with Blanchfield. I think she is going to get this to the mat, but I would not be surprised if she gets knocked out.
oh, good. That's one fight I didn't ask you about, but I gotta stick to my Jersey girl. I'm on Blanchfield. Come on now. I'm not even trying to be biased, but like as you said, Andrade is taking this fight on short notice. I'm actually shocked she even took the fight. She didn't even need to, honestly, after the demolishing on Lauren Murphy. But
Yeah,
that was the worst beating I've seen in a female fight. I don't know how that fight didn't get stopped. But
I should have said I said it needed to be stopped after the third round.
yeah, that fight was terrifying. But I'm wondering how Andrade's cardio is going to look in this fight a little bit, especially if it's out of round one. Because I think Andrade is going to try to come in heavy, try to show, oh, I'm the big dog in this fight. I'm going to come out, throw heavy bombs, then maybe even try to get early TKO. She does. She pays that price off 8,500. That's easy as hell. One thing I put against Blanchfield, I put in commas, her first legit test. Because to me, I think this,
It is.
I'll say this right now, like, I don't want to say this is her first legit test, but I think Talia Santos would have been a harder fight.
I don't. I don't at
One
all.
reason, mainly due to size. That's the one thing I'd remember. Because Santos, she had a hell of a fight with Chichenko, which that fight was damn fucking close. I just rewatched that fight a couple days ago. That fight was freaking close.
It was.
And some people, I wouldn't even be mad if it went to Santos because that fight should have been a rematch. But Santos, dangerous striker, long striker, but good finisher, decent BJJ. Andrade, if she can't be the bully, it's gonna be tough. I think she's gonna try to be the bully round one, and if she can't, I think Blanchfield's switch is gonna turn on. And I'll say this right now, I'm not trying to compare the two, but if Chichenko can take down overall Andrade with no problem, I'm sorry, Blanchfield is the better wrestler and grappler.
Oh God, yeah.
Chichenko. And people are saying, "Whoa, Chichenko." I'm just saying wrestling grappler. I'm not saying anything else because Chichenko improved her grappling and her wrestling. Blanchfield is leaps and bounds the better wrestler and grappler out of the two.
Blanchfield is the best wrestler in the division.
And at first, before
Come at me.
questioning, I remember when we were watching the Maverick fight, I was like, this could be a good wrestling match.
And I told you it wasn't going to be.
And I've only seen Blanchfield train once in person, only once. I'm like, I'm kind of curious how she does against, a stronger Maverick. She beat Maverick early in her career, but she ragdolled the living shit out of her. Mm-hmm. And Maverick, to me, she's not terrible, but no, not by any means. She's also, a good wrestler in her right mind. But Blanchfield just showed there's something called levels. And Blanchfield is leaps and bounds, arguably probably the best grappler wrestler in that division right now. And it's not even close. So I'm definitely going Blanchfield. I'm going heavy on Blanchfield. I'm locking Blanchfield. That's my girl from Jersey. Yeah, I know some people say, like, oh, female fights are weird. Some people don't like to get into female fights. You got to get to this fight. Pick your side. But we are both landing Blanchfield. But I'm not counting out Andrade because Andrade got that sneaky, crazy power. But yeah, our pick's definitely
you can't ever count out Andrade because of her power. I mean, she is a good wrestler grappler in her own right. She did submit Lemos standing up. Still super impressed with that. But the wrestling in this match is going to be a huge difference. Blanchfield should completely be better everywhere on the mat. So yeah, both of us going with Aaron Blanchfield. Andrade is not a bad play by any means. We both just think that Blanchfield is going to get it to the mat. She's going to smother her. So that's where we're at with that. All right, that wraps up that card. I already told you I'm locking my favorite dog, and my lock is Jordan Wright.
So you lock it in, and boom. I know how I said I'm locking in Blanchfield, but is that kind of too obvious though?
No, she's a dog.
Yeah, I like Blanchfield. I'm playing very light on this card. I think my favorite pay up, honestly, if we're doing my pay ups, is Carpenter. I think Carpenter's going to make smooth sailing. Fletcher is, yeah, I think if you want to pick between a couple guys, honestly, I'm probably going to lean. I got to see how my line's going to look because honestly, it's going to be between Fletcher and Hernandez. I think Hernandez has the higher ceiling. I think he can honestly get rid of Miller in round one and can be quick.
Absolutely.
Fletcher has too many question marks, but ideally, Fletcher is the preferred play at 91. That's not bad, especially if you know you're going to get to a good amount of dogs. But and me, I listed how many dogs I list? Blanchfield, Parisian, Cracknell, Elder, Emmer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't mean all five's going to win. Absolutely not. If it did, I'll be shocked as hell. But at least 5 dogs in my pool I can work around with. So if I really wanted to get to like a Carpenter, Fletcher, Hernandez line, I probably could.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely,
that may be a decent look.
All right, give me a hot take. What do you got?
I don't want to say this. It's gonna hurt me so bad. Hernandez finishes Miller round 1.
That's what I was gonna say.
That hurts.
I'll take a different one.
I know where you're going to.
I'm gonna go Sadikov knocks out Evan Elder in the first 3 minutes.
Ooh, first 3 minutes. Now, you said first 3. You didn't just say first round. First 3.
First 3 minutes.
And wait, in which fight did we have this so-called $20 bet on again? I forget which one.
All gone right.
Oh yeah,
isn't it?
I think it's Pagan right fight.
Yeah.
So if right wins, you get 20. Pagan wins, I get 20.
Yep.
You can send it right through the Facebook.
All right, that wraps up this episode of It's Time Picks. This is, now that we've talked about it, I do think it's a little more exciting than, it is on paper.
Hey, we're always excited for fights. By look, it's probably looking like ill, but at the same time, I'll watch fights all damn day.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Saturday. I always love having the fights. They are back to a normal time, so I think it starts 3 Central, 4 Eastern. So
remember, also smaller octagon.
Yeah, it is a smaller octagon that benefits your grapplers and your wrestlers. So even more there. Until next time, we will see you. I think it's next week.
Another
so
fight.
We're not off off anything.
It's another fight night card.
Oh yeah, it's Krylov and Span. So I'm excited for that fight. So see you on that one.